crazy as it sounds, some of the nightmares coaches have is when you have a big lead at halftime. And, I wasn't pleased with the way we started out the second half, but if I go to the first half, I thought missed a couple good shots early, then we started hitting shots. And give Trey Holloman a lot of credit. First start, thought he played well. Thought AJ gave him some good passes. We thought that Malik Hall played really well. He sprained that ankle again early, so not bad enough where he couldn't have played. We just didn't want to play him most of the second half for that reason. But considering we were without Tyson, it was on a team that we're probably better than, but there's still some discouraging things, that we were up. We were shooting 57 or 8 from the field and 52 from the 3 and 72 in the second half. We just started missing shots, and I thought took a couple of bad ones, and I understand it. But the real concern is the rebounding. We get out rebounded, they have 16 offensive, and you can look at it two ways. Like my staff tried to be, God, they missed a lot of shots. They had a lot of opportunities for offensive rebounds. And I said, yeah, we had a lot of opportunities for defensive rebounds. So it just depends which way you want to look at it. I want to look at it my way. They can look at it whatever hell way they want, but my way is going to be the one that matters in the meetings tomorrow. So that's a concern. We got almost 60 shots up. We only had 9 turnovers. We got to the line 21 times, not as much the second half. And, because I hate the net so much, I am going to play some subs at the end, not just Steven. Although I learned something tonight too, guys, that I've learned my whole life. Y'all wonder why I love football. And I have 3 walk-ons, as we all know. Davis Smith, Steven, and Nick Sanders. And 2 of them, Dad played basketball, and 1 played football. The 2 that played basketball came out with injuries. And the guy that played football, his dad, he was tougher than nails, and he stayed in there. So I got a bone to pick with Steve Smith Sr., a little bit with Davis, and definitely with my son. Can't even get a black eye anymore, and you got to come out of the game. But we played a lot of those freshmen in the second half. We felt like we had to get them some time, and that was part of the issue too, not playing Malik hardly at all. But all in all, I got a lot out of the game that I wanted to get out of it. For the most part, when you look at Malik was 2 for 4, and, Jaden ended up 5 for 11, 3 for 6. Trey 6 for 7, 5 for 5. AJ 3 for 7, 1 for 3. Jeremy Fears, who played awfully well, 4 for 5. And only Book, Cohen 5 for 6. Only Book shot poorly, and I swear every one of those shots for me was a good shot for him. So we got to get a lot better by Thursday. Tomorrow's practice should be fun because we're going to have to get after it. They're the most physical big team that will play probably maybe all year. Guys the size of Purdue's guys, but they have other guys that are as physical and more physical, so it'll be an interesting game.
Hey, Tom, congratulations on the win. Question is, in your experience after a big dominant win like this, is there a fine line between the players being confident or cocky? Do you have to watch out for that? Does that take care of itself?
Well, it better not be cocky because we're 3-2, and around here that's I don't read the chat pages and all that, but you know what they say. So I don't know. I don't think so at all. I hope we got a little confidence in a couple of them. Trey and even AJ got in there and hit a 3. I know Fears played a lot better. Marty played pretty well. It's a little disappointed in Coop. He did some okay things, but made some mistakes that bothered us a little bit. So we have a lot of things to work on. We have not, we did not beat the Lakers, and so there's no reason to, some reason to feel a little bit good about some things you did, but not great about how we played.
Tom, opportunities like this to get extended minutes for some of your freshmen, how will that help them kind of in the long run? I
kind of learned what Jim Boeheim told me a long time ago, and he's probably right. The way, there's so many things that have changed with these schedules. And, one of the things that changed is you used to start out the year and play some cupcakes. But a couple years ago, when the Big Ten started playing 2 Big Ten games in early December, that just added 2 more monster games. And so that makes it hard, hard on those freshmen, hard on their parents, hard on us. So, you got to sit down with KP because you're right, we need some of that, but you don't get much of a chance. I mean, now we have Arizona, then we have Georgia Southern, then it's Nebraska, then it's Wisconsin, or Wisconsin, then Nebraska. It's a full plate, and then after that, I think it's a break, and then Baylor. So it really changes by adding those 2 Big Ten teams in, and it screws up. Nothing we can do about it, but it screws up the maturation of the freshmen, especially when they need, as you said, these. So it can do nothing but help. I mean, Cohen got to play more. Jeremy, I thought, got a lot out of it. Book still got to learn how to play harder and harder and harder and stronger and stronger and stronger. It's just going to take some time.
The night that Trey had, both the confidence he showed in shooting the ball and what he did with distributing it. I mean, it's, when you look at where he was last year to this year, you talk about that maturation process. How much has he developed at that point?
Well, I remember this summer, at the end of the summer at the press conference, I told you he was one of the most improved players. He's improved his shooting a lot. He has gained some weight, not enough for me, but he's gained some weight. But you were right on the money. I was really pleased the fact that he had, he scored at 5 for 6 or 6 for 7, whatever he was, but he also had 5 assists and 1 turnover. And played very good defensively. That's going to be a big lift for us, especially if we get Tyson back now, maybe Tyson and Jaden don't have to play as many minutes. We'll get him in there more, and we're getting pretty solid play out of Jeremy. And so now we're, starting to do some things, and then working Cohen in at a couple positions is the kind of the last piece of the puzzle, at least for the next couple weeks.
Another dominant night on the defensive end. Do you think this team has found their defensive identity?
It really was, because I think it could have been better than it was if we would have, statistically it was really good, and I think it could have been better if we didn't have that little lapse there. So I give my staff a lot of credit, too. I mean, those guys have done a very good job with the scouting, and we're getting more what we learn, what we teach, and what they're doing. And I didn't think there were a lot of open looks either. Sometimes, it's open looks. Like, I was pleased with our offense to a certain extent. We still missed some wide open shots. And, sooner or later they're going to start falling on a regular basis. But they're 10 for 25. It's a lot better than 1 for 20. So we are making progress.
Tom, over here. Are you confident you'll have Tyson for Thursday? Do you have a sense of?
I am, but according to my trainer, he's had a cold for a couple days and just didn't say nothing even before the Friday game. So that's 4 or 5 days, and he wasn't doing good today. I mean, I don't even know why he came to the game, but I didn't feel he was contagious, and I just sent him getting some sleep because he was really hurting this morning when I met with him last night. So, yeah, I'm confident we'll get him back, but at what level, I don't know. That's a good question.
Is that something you, like the contagious point, do you worry about that stuff, like spreading through a team early in the season with a guy who's ill, putting him on the bench and things?
I don't. I'm not one of them superstitious guys, Hell, in the UP, we just, guy taught me early, a doctor, you don't have to wear a jacket in the winter. Those kind of things it's not because you're cold, it's because of the virus or whatever happens. I'm not educated enough to know all what that means. I just know that I walked around without a coat on a lot up there. So, I don't worry. If you get sick, you get sick. I can't. I'm not going to keep everybody in a bubble, that's for sure. And, He'll be all right. I mean, he'll be good. We just got to get, this will be a shot in the arm for us because we got some other guys some time. But no, to your point, we didn't same colors, but we didn't beat the Lakers.
Tom, you kind of talked about it there with the shot in the arm, getting more guys some minutes. Do you think that having to play without a guy that's been so dynamic in Tyson Walker will give you guys some sort of advantage going forward?
Yeah, I think that's another good point about it. I mean, I sat there last night having nightmares thinking, no matter how you put it, no matter who you're playing, 23 points out of your lineup is 23 points out of your lineup. So I do think this will be a confidence builder now if Jaden goes down, gets in foul trouble, if somebody else does, that's the beauty of this. But we just got a lot of work to do yet, but I'm, every day getting more encouraged. I spent a lot of time, sounds crazy, but I just spent a lot of time watching that Tennessee game over the last 3 days. Because you start saying to yourself, maybe you're not that good. I watched that game. I'm going to tell you now, if you want to do something, go watch that game and then go watch any Elite Eight game that we played in. I'll guarantee you that game was as good, as intense, as tough, as physical, as well played as any of those games. So, there is if that's the ceiling, it's a good ceiling. And I got to keep my eye on that once in a while when we, and you got to give our kids a little bit of credit that when you play that hard and well defensively over 5 games, really, shooting the way we were shooting, that speaks a few volumes for our guys because there's a couple guys, but usually there's a lot of guys that their offense dictates their defense, and we've kind of done a pretty good job of, struggling, being down about our offense, and yet still doing the things we needed to do defensively. So that's encouraging.
Hey Tom, can you talk a little bit about Cohen Carr tonight and just how he was offensively and defensively, and from the beginning of the year going into now? Can you talk a little bit about his performance and how it's grown?
I was just trying to think, all the time I've been here, and all the great players I've been around from my team and other teams, how in the hell he made that dunk. I'll never know. I mean, I didn't know what to do. I said, God, if the coach starts jumping up and down and acting like one of those fans, that's not good. If I just sit there cool and casual, that's not good. So that was a tough moment for me. But he really, he's blocking shots. He's coming. I mean, he's coming too, Every one of them has a weakness that we got to get better. But I love the kid because he plays hard. In fact, he didn't get on the floor that one time, and I did jump him about it, and he just took it, and he jumped me back to say that was ridiculous, and God, you love that in a kid. So I'm, I am. I mean, Booker played better too. I mean, he got open shots. He did some things. He just, the strength and the aggressiveness, he just has to improve. But man, there's not a lot of guys that have his kind of skills either. So he threw a couple of really nice passes. You just gotta, if there's one process I'd like to speed up, it would be him with his strength and aggressiveness. But, big fella takes care of some of that, so I'm gonna just keep going along for the ride and try to keep improving him.
Tom, too, just want to highlight AJ. He's been a focal point for a while, the leadership. Seeing 5 defensive rebounds, what does that say if you didn't see the game? What does that say about where he's at right now?
I thought AJ went through a stretch there to start the second half that he was really, first half he was really good and did some good things, missed some good shots. The second half I thought he got sluggish right off the bat, and we kind of told him, and he went back in there and he had a couple of segments where he was like really good. And I think that's growth. I think that's, encouraging. And I think he made some nice passes. He got some nice rebounds. he made the right decisions and the right plays most of the time. AJ took a step, you know. A lot of guys took a step, and we got to remember, who, you know, and that's no insult. I thought that team was very well coached. They ran some good stuff. That guy's a good coach. I mean, they won 2 championships in a row. You say, well, what league was that? Let me tell you something. When you know how to win a championship, it doesn't matter if it's at Northern Michigan, Iron Mountain, Michigan, Alcorn State, or Michigan State. Winning a championship, because to do that, you have to play against the same people that you are, and I give him a lot of credit. My good friend Bruce Weber, who did the game on TV tonight, knew him a little bit better because he played with a guy Bruce coached at Purdue. And I said to Bruce, I said, well, you watch his stuff, he runs a lot of good stuff, you know, those inside guys. I walked into the locker room, I told my staff, I said, somebody better have filmed their warm-up. I've never seen a team go so hard, and that's a great tribute to the coach. So he's, you know, they'll be all right. They'll do well in their league. Tonight, we caught them. You know, they have been playing pretty good, and I still think that team will win a lot of games in their league.
Over your coach. With Tyson out, what impressed you the most out of the rest of the guys?
Well, we missed him and we didn't miss him. You know, that's, I guess, you know, it was kind of neat that Ty wanted to be there too. You know, I told him he should go home. And, you know, the trainer kind of agreed that he wasn't, they didn't feel it was anything that was infectious. So he wanted to be there with the guys, and I think that's a step in the right direction for him. You know, it's such a selfish world, guys, where everybody just worries about themselves. And when guys worry about other people, that's kind of cool. And so I think they appreciated that he was there, and they appreciated that they know he would have played dead, but he couldn't do anything. And I thought it was good that our guys responded the way they did. Not only Trey, but Jeremy and AJ, and, you know, nobody felt sorry. Everybody was locked in. A good shoot-around today. So, as you said, we learned something, and I think that's a positive.
Season high in minutes for Fears. How do you think he did with the increased responsibility?
I thought he did very well. You know, I thought he made some great plays. He made some shots. You know, he got layups. I mean, he keeps people, he keeps pressure on people. And he has a great knack to get people the ball, and he talks to them. I mean, that's the one thing he does better than anybody I've had since probably Cleaves or Walton. He talks to people as he's dribbling. He calls out calls out things, and that's why I think he's going to be such a good leader, you know. And he's got to keep working on that shot. But you know, I was impressed with him, and I was very pleased, and I was excited. I mean, I spent a lot of time with the freshmen yesterday after practice, and you know, it's frustrating for these guys. I mean, if you, as I said, this new era of COVID and transfer upperclassmen, I mean, there's a lot of freshmen aren't playing much. And I think that's one of our pluses and one of our minuses. We have to play them. We have to play our freshmen because they're our depth. And yet they're not ready to play, not against 23 and 4-year-olds. It's just the way it is. And that's what's changed dramatically from maybe 3-4 years ago. So we just got to adjust, do what we can do, and they got to adjust, and we got to spend more time with them. We got to speed the process up because of that. I am, and AJ is a big reason. He's pushed it. He pushed it well at Duke. He pushed it very well over there, and he pushed it pretty well against Butler. So that's a big thing. And then Jeremy came in and continued. But what we're starting to get is those wings are starting to run. You know, Jaden had open shots. He ran. Trey ran. We're starting to get some Malik down the middle. So we're getting a variety of different things, which I think is going to, you know, benefit us. We just, I'm excited about, a few steps forward, but I think we have so far to go is the bad news, and we got so far to go is the good news, because I think we can get a lot better. And that's the way I'm going to look at this. Thanks a lot. Hey, I probably won't see most of you, so have a good Thanksgiving, and make sure you get on that treadmill.